Thank you, sir, and thank you for briefing about the objectives of gender equity and this committee working in this accuracy cell. Now coming to the today's event, first of all, I would like to introduce our today's speaker, Professor Dr. Snehal Kotak Palan ma'am. She is an academician with a rich experience of 30 years, and currently she is campus director of Oswald Education Trust, and also she is principal with Shri G.H. Gosrani Commerce and D.D. Nagra BBA College, Jamnagar. She is member of Senate Saurashtra University, and she is chairman of Board of Studies Accounting Saurashtra University, and she has published and presented research papers in several national and international journals and conferences. She is also district coordinator, student startup and innovative program Saurashtra University, and member of committee for reviewing the standard qualification of PG teachers, and she is also member of board of cultural study in the same Saurashtra University and district convener of student development program of Saurashtra University, and she has been member of many schools like Nand Vidya Niketan, Radhika Educare and Tapovan and all other schools also. On the behalf of whole ITRA family, I welcome you ma'am here, and I am also thankful for you to providing your precious time to share your views on financial management and gender equity on this platform. So without wasting time, I would like to call upon Snehal ma'am for her guest speech. Please ma'am.
Good afternoon. If I reveal one secret, do you promise you will listen to me carefully for the coming hour? If I tell you from now, I was going to tell it at the end, but then now Dr. Thakur mentioned something, so I could not resist speaking it now. He said I'm an expert at financial management, but if I tell you, don't tell anyone, I do not manage my finances. Before we actually commence, I would like your help. I would like to have some volunteers on the stage, mixed crowd, say some 8 to 10 ladies, some 6 to 8 to 10 gentlemen on the stage. I would like to conduct an activity. Do not hesitate. There's nothing nothing embarrassing that I'd like to ask you. There are no questions that I'll ask you. You will not know. Everyone will know those questions. I'll ask some questions, but everyone would know that. And the replies would be just in yes or no. You don't have to speak also. You just have to, with gestures you have to reply. So some ladies and gentlemen, some 8 to 10 ladies, some 8 to 10 gentlemen. Do not worry. You love UG students, PG students? PG? Nice. Please stand in one row. A little ahead, a little. Okay. All of you, see, gender equity. Men are standing behind. Nice, right? Okay. Now, I'll ask you a bunch of questions. You don't need to reply. The answers will be yes or no. And what you have to do is, just if your answer is yes, you have to step forward. If your answer is a no, you have to step back. Are we ready? Okay, so here we go. Ready? Okay. Tell me, did you learn how to ride a bicycle before the age of 10? Step forward if your answer is a yes. Bicycle chalana seekhe hum before 10 years? Did you learn music in school? Did you take or did you participate in sports in school? Interesting, right? Did you learn how to iron your clothes while still in school? Nice. Have you ever planned and booked your holidays unassisted? Do you share household expenses equally? If you can make tea or breakfast, not just for yourselves, do you usually make for the household bill payments yourself? Do you know the price per square feet of land in your area? Are you the decision maker while buying the appliances at EMI or cash? Household appliances. You see, you have to step back, huh? Because otherwise we'll not know. You're coming forward when your answer is yes, you're not stepping back. Okay. Do you know the exact backup of your... Anyone of you salaried? Not yet, right? So this question is not relevant. Okay. Salaried? Okay, okay. So do you know the exact breakup of your salary? Except two of you, all of you are standing here. I said you have to step back. If it's no. Okay. Have you given a thought on... But then we'll not be able to see the gap. Anyway, at present it's obvious. Okay. Have you given a thought on how compound interest is calculated? Good, chalo. Do you track stock markets? See? Just say. Do you know the details of the financial documents you are asked to sign? अच्छा, जो डॉक्यूमेंट्स फाइनेंशियल डॉक्यूमेंट्स समझो आपने लोन ले लिया तो आपको सिग्नेचर करना पड़ता है, हाँ? तो आप पढ़ के साइन करते हो, समझ के साइन करते हो, ठीक? अच्छा, have you purchased a vehicle in your own name without consulting anybody? Have you bought insurance policies unassisted? Do you watch or follow the budget? See now, just observe. I hope you're observing. Audience, do you manage your earnings and finances unassisted? Do you know how to invest in mutual funds? Do you know the difference between mutual fund and SIP? Do you make the investments for your family members or your spouse? Do you file your own income tax return? This is bit, no. Okay. So, I guess there is a gap, isn't it? There is a gap. Can you tell me, when did this gap widen? When we started, you were all standing in a row. When did this gap started getting bigger? Right? Right? Okay, so we'll ponder upon it. I'll request you all to take your own seats. Thank you very much. Once again, a very big round of applause for them, because see, when you do not know what you will be asked, coming up on this stage with no idea, this is a blind game, right? What you're going to ask, they didn't know and they come up. So very big thank you, dear volunteers. And a very good afternoon once again. Uh, Dr. Professor Thakur probably has left. Deans, deputy directors, deans, HODs, professors, researchers, PG students, and UG students. A very good afternoon once again. However empowered or independent we feel, connected. So we feel so independent and empowered, but there's a gap. There's a gray side. We've all seen when it comes to financial management, there is definitely a gap. We have gathered here to discuss, to interact upon this. But I feel so elated and happy to see nearly girls and ladies. Can you raise your hand? I think it is more than 75%, 80%. Yes? So when we gather, when in such learned gatherings, I have observed, you also must have observed that at least 50 or more than 50% of our gathering is consisting of women. So we have to feel blessed that we are a part of a society where the change has stepped in, right? So with this positive note, let us start on gender equity and financial management. Basically, more on gender equity, financial management will definitely will be touching up in between, but that needs fundamentals to be learned first. So will be a very basic financial management will be touching up. So with this positive note, if we begin, that we have already stepped into an era where change has begun. Women have been empowered, or we've started empowering women. So let's start with the basic. What is basic gender equity, equality or equity? There's a difference, but that we'll see later on. What is gender equality? It is a state, not the state, not Gujarat, Andhra Pradesh. It is a state where all human beings, all individuals, irrespective of gender, irrespective, regardless of race, if everyone is equally respected, if everyone is given access, if everyone is given the right to resources and opportunities equally, not just man, women, even transgenders, right? The laws regarding transgenders also have been in place since a decade. So all genders, all races are given equal access to the resources and opportunities. That state, वो जो स्थिति है, is called gender equality. But unfortunately, I can make a blunt statement that it does not exist. Nowhere in the world, not in India, nowhere in the world, globally, gender equality does not exist. India की परिस्थिति और खराब है, but बाकी it is not there anywhere. Now, if I share some statistics with you, say in India, after 75 years of independence, India's rank is 135 in Global Gender Gap Index. Out of 146 countries, we stand at 135th position. The studies say this. The research says this. So, and that is again the reason we have to sit like this and brainstorm as to what can be done, because we are not in good shape. You must be wondering which is the first gender equal country then. The first gender equal country is Iceland, then comes Finland, then it is Norway, and then it is New Zealand, very close to it. And Iceland is consecutively, this is the 12th year that it stands at the first position, nearly 90% equality in Iceland. Now, if we talk again about, if we come back to India, so far as the legal framework is concerned, laws are in place. 83%, 83.3% laws are in place. The laws which promote, enforce or monitor the gender equality are all set. Bills in the parliaments have been passed, acts are in place, everything. But what about the execution? What about the enforcement? We know that there's a law. See, Bal Vivah, legally banned hai. Sexual harassment ke against, there are strict kaide hain. But we all know that in so many states and so many communities, होते हैं, right? बाल विवाह होते हैं, harassment होता है. Even in urban areas, sexual harassment and physical assaults is very common. So we lack in the execution, enforcement part. Now, what are the major concerns? As I said, at present we are just scrolling the statistics. The major concerns, 27.3% women in the age group of 20 to 24. The women in the age group of 20 to 24 years were surveyed. Out of these women, nearly 27% women have admitted that they were married before the age of 18. In another survey of 15 to 14, in the age group of 15 to 49, women of 15 to 49 age group, 18%, 18.4% women have admitted that they have been a victim of physical or sexual assault. Parliament mein only 14% seats are held by women. So these all are alarming figures. Now, as I said, Iceland's equality rate was 90%. We stand at 62.5% in India. This gap is because of these reasons. Representation of women in politics, in leadership roles, at the top cadres in organizations is inadequate. Women at top positions are very less in percentage. So when it comes to healthcare, a girl child or a woman is not much privileged. If it's a boy, not in our community, in urban areas, but in the less literate communities, if it's a boy, he will be given proper care. For girl, we know that care is to bahut dur ki baat hai. We know about medical termination of pregnancies when it's a girl child. We also know about doodh piti bachchi karte wo tradition. After birth also, this practice is not yet eradicated. So healthcare ke मामले में also ladies are less privileged. Now, income inequality hai, literacy rate mein, they are deprived of education. If a family has 2, 3, 4, 5 children, among them some are male child, some are female child, and when it comes to education, if the family is not affording, if they cannot educate all children, then it will be female child who will be deprived of education. Right? Now, female, actually, across the world, in any nation or across the world, women consist of 50% of population. Do you agree? Somewhere it is 51, 49, 52, 48, but half the population of the world is women. Nearly half the population is women, which means the productivity, the potential, the capacity, everything वर्ल्ड की जो पोटेंशियल है, जो कैपेसिटी है, उसका 50% तो women के पास है. If that remains unutilized, if that remains underutilized, then we are losing so much. Each nation, GDP, growth, success rate, economic development, social progress, everything is at a risk if we do not utilize 50% of our capacity, right? So this, like gender equity, is we have to bridge this gap. Gender equity is not just female right or fight. It is the right or fight of the society, the community, the nation as a whole, or the world as a whole, human race as a whole, right? Because as I said, if we do not utilize half of our potential of human race, then we will never progress. So it is a fight of the human race. It is not just the fight of women. It is everyone's fight in the society. And everyone, including men, has to do something to eradicate this. Now, if you want to understand this gender equality, the concept, the this thing of perception of gender equality, we'll broadly classify them in these three areas: the causes, the indicators, and the ways to promote gender equality. If we quickly jump to the causes, biological reasons not in our control. This is going to be there. There are some भगवान ने बनाया है अलग, तो अलग रहेंगे, है ना? So biological reasons are there. Uneven access to education we just discussed कि access नहीं है, girls deprive girls को किया जाता है. Lack of employment equality, just like education, employed in the areas of employment also, girls are lagging behind, are less privileged. Ladies are less privileged. Job segregation in the kinds of Dr. Professor Thakur mentioned that truck chalane mein, you will not find girls or if ladies. If you see a lady driving a truck, that will be looking at it like घूम के पीछे, है ना? So that is job segregation. We have compartmentalized. ये काम लड़की का, ये लड़के का, ये मेल का, ये फीमेल का. Legal protection में, as I said, कायदे है, enforcement, execution नहीं है, weak है. Medical care also we discussed and you all are aware. So these are all actually self-explanatory. Mindset is very important. Utmost priority to change the mindset. This is something which, if we can change people's mindset, we will win as a society. Again, a quick, small yes or no survey. Some dialogues, some statements will be displayed here. I would like you to raise your hand if you have heard it. Acha, how many of you know Gujarati? Isme non-Gujarati? Most of you, right? Most of you? So I will take a liberty of using some Gujarati statements here. Okay. अच्छा ये सुना है कभी? Raise your hand if you've heard this. क्यों भाई? Now, ये सुना है? Yeah, now this is in Gujarat. Yeah, whatever it is. કેમ છોકરીની જેમ રડે છે? અરે ભાઈ કેમ છોકરી જ રડે? So this is our mindset, right? We think that છોકરીઓ જ રડે, છોકરા થોડા રડે, છોકરો રડે તો આપણે એમ પૂછે કેમ છોકરીની જેમ રડે? Okay. ये सुना है? Right? Yeah, these are some positive statements, but it is there. Compartmentalization is there, right? Girls creative होती है, boys नहीं होते. So, ये हमने किया दिए हुए labels है. If a girl wears shirts and trousers, yes, you heard it. Shirts and trousers. If we cut our hair, if we behave strongly, then we are labeled as tomboys. है ना? ये सुना होगा ये भी, right? So we have to break this stereotypes, this pigeonholes, this labels, this compartmentalizations. ये माइंडसेट जब तक चेंज नहीं करेंगे, कोई लिटरेसी, कोई गवर्नमेंट, कोई कायदा, कोई इक्विटी ला नहीं सकता. Agree or not? We have to change our mindset. If only we bifurcate among ladies and gentlemen, then it is never going to go. कोई भी कायदा ले आओ. So these were some causes, right? Mindset was the last cause. Basically, if I remind you, biological differences है, या legal this thing है, medical poor medical health care है. These were all the causes. क्यों gender equity है society में prevail करती है. So they were causes. The last one being mindset. Now, if we look at the indicators meaning the symptoms, disease के जो symptom होते हैं society में, what do you see, what do you observe that will, make you come to a conclusion that gender inequality prevails? क्या symptoms है, क्या देख के हमें पता चलता है कि inequality है? These indicators include inequality at home, pay gap, gender pay gap, unequal work for unequal pay, there's a mistake, unequal pay for identical work, women are promoted less often than men, decision making power, especially in the financial matters, is comparatively less, and sexual harassment. The society wherein all these things prevail, gender inequality prevails. Now, if we, I would like to watch one more video here. It is very...
There is a string in my heart that makes me think why boys go for blue and girls choose pink. There is also a category for toys, dolls for girls and cars for boys. Well, this is all fine as nature makes this boundary and draws the line. But what aches my heart is when we make things apart. Why he goes out for work and kitchen is a destination, her only perk. Why dowry for her as if she is a thing, and he behaves like her owner, her king. Why adjustments for her, satisfaction for him. Why brightness for him, her life so dim. Yes, education is common in both, hers for marriages, his for career of growth. Why she leaves her family, her home, while he stays there in his kingdom, his throne. She wants equity, not equality to live. No sympathy, just love and respect to give. Don't call her weak, she is brave. While he can take his decisions, freedom is what she craves. Her emotions have tears, his emotions are raged. She can't feel safe, but why roads are open and she is caged?
So this shows all the indicators, all the symptoms of the disease that we have in our society. Even this picture, this shows the first indicator, this establishes the first indicator, inequality at home. You can see if we run a race, men and women can never win. Why? What do you observe in this picture? This race, for men, they have a clear track. For women, it's a hurdle race. How can we win? We have to do our laundries, we have to cook, we have to take care of children, we have to take care of elderly people at home, other household chores. And men, they don't have to do anything, they just have to run the race. And we have to do everything, jump all these hurdles and then reach the finish line. So, the race is not easy for women. It is hurdle race. It is not an equal race. right? So this is inequality at home. If all these household chores, caring for children, taking care of children and elderly people, educating the children, household chores, cooking, washing, laundries, utensils, if everything is shared equally by man and woman, then only we can call it equality. But there is inequality. We see even in urban areas that this doesn't exist. Women have to do all these things, men don't have to. So this is inequality at home. And when you observe the society in which you observe inequality at home, we can say that there is gender inequality in that society. See, I'll tell you how. In the Western world, I just made a statement in the beginning that no nation in the world is gender equal, right? So if you compare our country with other Western or developed countries, in the developed countries, in the Western countries, household chores are to an extent distributed. Not that equally, not equally, but as compared to our country, cooking or doing some household work, educating children, these tasks are to an extent shared by men also. So intensity, the degree of inequality in the developed countries is less as compared to India. In India we have again, segregation क्या हुआ ये काम तो लड़कियां ही करेगी. So the intensity of inequality in such countries, the degree of inequality in such countries is said to be very high. So it starts from home. If you observe the homes of a country, of a society, you will see, you will be able to make out whether there is equality or not. Okay, another indicator is gender pay gap. Now we have to be again blessed that we are that part of a society where this doesn't exist much. We've not seen this. Most of you all are in government setup, so this does not exist. Pay commissions are in place. Whether it is a man, women, whatever, it goes smoothly. The pay revisions or pay these things, increments and all, there is gender bias nahi hai, है ना? Even teaching fraternity, even if it's not government, like I belong to a teaching fraternity, I am not in a government setup. I am in a private setup. But even in private setup, teaching fraternity is one where gender bias is not seen much. But if you observe the corporate organizations, companies, there is a gender pay gap. There is a lot of gender pay gap. The studies say that 22%, those who work full time, women, 22%, they are paid 22% less than men, which means that they are unpaid for 1 hour and 40 minutes every day, or they are unpaid for 57 days. They work free for 57 days in a year. This is the extent of gender pay gap in corporates, as I said. For the equal positions, the negotiation capacity of women, if they go to corporate, is very limited. Men can dictate their terms. Women cannot. This, whether we accept or not, this is a reality, right? And again, reminding you, but don't get me wrong, these are all the studies of corporate, but we have to take it into consideration because this is very significant. We are, our country and the globe as a whole, we are very rapidly moving towards privatization. So we cannot ignore the figures of corporate world, right? So these studies, this research are all made on the corporate employees. Okay. When it comes to promotion also, again, men are privileged, women are underprivileged. If it's a team of 10 in a department, 5 women, 5 men, the boss is transferred or resigns. And one of them, from the team of 10, one of them is to be promoted, men will have a better chance. Except unless otherwise a female is exploited. Or she offers her unethical, these things. Only then she has bright chance. Otherwise, it's man's area. All these things are studies have proven, right? So less chances of promotion. And if you check the Fortune 500 list or S&P 500 lists on the boards, among 500, or say take 500 companies, out of 100 companies of Fortune 500, less than 5 companies have female CEO. This proves that promotion incorporates chances of promotion, chances of women being promoted in corporates are less. Top earners, if you income of businessman, industrialist, or the directors of the companies, Fortune 500 companies, if you check, in the list of top 10, say 100, only 10%, less than 10% are women. So for financial matters, women are underestimated, are underrated. We think that they cannot decide. For $1 billion question, or for managing the finances of the company, or of home, or of nation, female do not have that capacity. We are an exception. Nirmala Sitharaman is our finance minister. Lots of respect, but an exception. Now, so here comes our financial management. See, I'll give you an example. Those questions during the activity of in the beginning, those which were the questions related to financial management, the girls had to take a step back. If we take small examples of buying the household appliances at home, if we have to buy even a fridge or an AC, whether to buy it in installments or to buy it paying cash, such decisions are not taken at least solely by women. Maybe sometimes they are consulted, but solely by women, decisions are not taken. How many of you would agree with me? Those who are married. We do not take, right? We do not take these decisions solely. Sometimes, see, I have observed in my case as well as in many other cases that we avoid also. This also need to be corrected. We avoid. Like, if I tell you my example, I don't want to do it. Why? Like we have father, husband, brother who will be able to do it. Why? वो headache लेना है, time नहीं है, time क्यों नहीं है घर का काम करना? So again, ultimately it goes there, but we do not. We have that, maybe whether it is somewhere a lack of confidence, whether it is running away from the responsibility of taking important or such decisions where finances related, whatever it is, but it is there genetically somewhere that we run away. Even if we are asked to take a decision, we do not. As I said in my case, I'm literally scolded, why am I not involving in finances or investments? But then I do not. So this is what is in our genes or blood. And that needs to be corrected if we want to bring about a change, bring about gender equity. Then comes, this is another indicator, sexual harassment, the society where this prevails. It indicates that there's no equity. Equal level of respect is not paid to all genders, to all races. And that is why women become the victim of sexual harassments, crimes. These are very alarming figures. See, these many rapes, these are figures of 1 year. These many assaults, cruelty by husbands, right? So how to promote? Only thinking about the problems would not solve them. So we have to brainstorm on how to promote, what are the ways to promote the equality. We have to fight the gender stereotypes, promote the equality at home, talk about gender issues right from when our children are of small age. Men and boys have to be literated about this. We have to celebrate and promote positive deviance, ethics of marriage to be in, marriage has to be a partnership and not dominance. Investment, increased investment in adults and girls and young women in the leadership roles. So these are some of the ways to promote gender equity. if we talk about stereotypes, fighting against the stereotypes, we discussed while we discussed the causes and the indicators, that there are stereotypes, the mindsets. We have compartmentalized. We have ourselves made the area. We have labeled. ये लड़की पहनेगी, ये लड़का पहनेगा, ये कलर लड़की के लिए अच्छा है, ये नहीं है. ये काम लड़की करेगी, ये लड़का. ये stereotypes है उनके. We have to fight against. We have to remove those stereotypes from our own mindsets. That is one way to promote this. And just like charity begins at home, equality also begins at home. We have to promote the gender equality at home. Like all household chores, parents are observed by children. So if we want our next generation to see the gender equal world, our children to observe, witness the gender equal world, then we have to make them observe at home itself, parents distributing the work equally, parents paying equal respect to each other. So this, if we promote equality at home, only then our children will, when they'll learn this, when they'll grow up, they'll behave accordingly. Now again, one more very interesting video, very touching. This is actually an advertisement of
You have to finish your breakfast. Very nice. Finish this, okay? Toast.
Thank you.
क्या बनाया?
आपके कितनी फ्लोर के? 1, 2. कौन सी स्टोरी सुनोगी आज?
इसकी फेवरेट बर्फ वाली.
बर्फ वाली.
The cobbler made shoes.
Mommy? Papa?
जी.
So this is actually an advertisement of Ariel, but when I watched this for the first time, this made me cry. Right? But this is what children observe. If man equally share the load, equality will prevail. This is the way to promote equality. Now we have to, one more thing that we have to educate children is not he, not she, it is human. They, human, right? So we have to educate our children from childhood with an age appropriate lens. Men and boys will have to be educated to respect women. This is important. Celebrate and promote positive deviance. Achievement of the less underprivileged gender has to be celebrated, has to be promoted, not individual ones. Many individual victories of women or girls in the areas of sports, in the areas of education, in so many areas we observe that women are doing wonderfully well. So we have to celebrate their victory or their achievements. But what I am talking about here is when there is a positive deviation in some society. If some community, some society deviates positively from the stereotypes, then that has to be promoted. See, I'll give you one example. Any one of you have heard that in some states in say South or in some Christian community, puberty is celebrated. There's a ritual. Is anyone aware? Yes? This is a positive deviant, right? This has to be promoted. One more example. In some community, I am not very sure of which community, but in one community, लड़के ससुराल जाते हैं after wedding. Have you heard of this? Yes? This is a positive deviant. Northeast, yes. Urban Baxter is telling me here it is Northeast. So लड़के जाते हैं ससुराल, ये positive deviant है. Such things have to be promoted. And only then, we can have a gender equal society. We have to understand the concept of partnership in marriage, ethics of partnership in marriage. It doesn't have to be dominant man, right? Male dominating society. We have to increase our investment in girls and in ladies when it comes to leadership roles across the board. Now, after doing all this exercise and trying to strive towards a gender equal country, what as a nation, what do we gain? क्या फायदा ये सब करके? फर्क है तो है, biological or genetical difference से क्यों? Why are we doing all this? Can anyone tell me? क्या फायदा है? A basic question ये सब कितने सालों से चला रहा है? कायदे बनाओ, ये सब सेमिनार्स करो, भाई जैसे चल रहा है. What is the problem? As a nation, have you ever thought, I once mentioned that the GDP, the growth, the progress, the productivity of the nation as a whole cannot increase. It will be stagnant if we do not achieve gender equity. So as a nation, it is very important to be gender equal or to strive for a gender equality, because the economic activity, economic equity depends on gender equity. We cannot grow as a country if there is, because as the 50%, as I mentioned before also, that 50% of our population is underutilized. So gender equity has to be gained. We have to strive to achieve that. We have to provide equal job opportunities. If we can do this in the country, poverty rate can be lowered, communities can be uplifted, GDP can be significantly increased, and above all, index of happiness. It is very much talked about a phenomenon nowadays. Happiness index can also increase. Why? Because if there's no equity, female are not happy. So 50% of your population is not happy. Out of remaining 50% men, 20% are not happy, so your index will be 30%. So, in order to, have your happiness index parameters high, in order to raise them, we need to have economic equity, which can be achieved through gender equity. Another benefit that nation will gain is education. If we have gender equity, female child will not be deprived of right to education. If everyone is educated, again, it's a cycle. It's a cycle. If everyone is educated, the growth rate of the nation, the income will rise. Child marriage rate will decrease, child mortality rate will decrease, maternal mortality rate will fall. So these are all the benefits that nation can achieve. we'll have better health and a happy community. So these are all the benefits that as a nation, these benefits can be achieved if we have gender equity in our country. So let us conclude with a positive note and let's make this planet a better place to live. Thank you very much.
Thank you for elaborating that gender equity and financial and management, and just also giving us a bird eye view on financial management and what is the importance of this gender equity in the progress of one nation. Thank you, ma'am. Now, I would like to request our Dean, Planning and Development, Vyati Arpan Bhatt sir, to felicitate our guest speaker, Snehal Kotak ma'am. Ma'am, please come on the dais, ma'am.
Thankful to you all for bearing me this long. I'm also very thankful to my peers, my colleagues who have helped me through this presentation. Devanshi Shah ma'am, Krupatri, we are all lecturers in our college, in our commerce college. Devanshi Shah ma'am, Krupatri Vedi ma'am, Jigna Vyas ma'am, Dharmendra Bhai Solanki. It is only with their support that I am here today with you all to celebrate this gender equity, striving our efforts towards striving for gender equity. Thank you.
It is a gift hamper just loaded with all the Ayurvedic products which can be used in daily. As we all know that Ayurveda Day celebration is near on 22nd October. And our Honorable Modi ji has shared that Har Din Har Ghar Ayurveda. So sure ma'am you will like this hamper. No sir, female. But they can be used by both. Here is also gender equity can be just, we can just. And at the last, I would like to thank all the dignitaries, our respected director sir, Deputy Director Versa ma'am, and Juban Mora sir, and Dean Vyati Arpan Bhatt sir, Patgiri sir, and our committee chairperson A.S. Baghel sir, and committee member Professor Shilpa Donga ma'am, and other faculty members, HODs, and our dear UG, PG, and PhD scholars to remain present in this lecture. And I hope you have just gained something because every year our committee is on organizing a lecture on this gender equity sensitization. Hope it will enlighten your future for making decisions and all these things. And I would like to thank everyone who is present here. And you can join us for an Ayurvedic drink in the back of the auditorium. It's for all faculty and scholars. Thank you all.